Good afternoon, everybody. It is... Whoa, what's going on? Why am I hearing two? I'm hearing two of myself. Good afternoon, everybody. It is... There we go. That's what happened. I was hearing two of everything. Hey, we're looking... I think this is the Liberal Party headquarters in Canada. They have copyrighted music playing right now, so I don't think I can play the music. Let me just really quick check if they're still playing it. Yeah, they still got it playing there. Give me one moment here. All right, we are here to bring you live coverage of the announcement of the new leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, who will end up being the new Prime Minister until the next election. Okay? So I think we just saw Frank Baylis. The favorite to win is this person, Mark Carney. And it's basically between Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland. But this is going to be the person who wins the Liberal Party election for the next party leader will be the next Prime Minister of Canada, replacing Justin Trudeau. And the latest I saw, although maybe this has been updated, the latest I saw was that the announcement was going to be around 6:30 Eastern time, which would be in an hour and 24 minutes. But I can't guarantee it's going to be then. So we're looking at the Liberal Party event right now, live footage. Oh, hold on a second. Hang on a moment.
Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking all those who have supported me throughout this race.
My friends, my incredible team, and all my supporters, I am deeply, deeply grateful. Thank you.
This is Frank Baylis, one of the candidates.
We are living in challenging times. Our economic security and our very sovereignty is under threat. But the man who challenges us does not know our history, and he does not understand our values.
He's talking about Trump right now.
We are builders who stitched this country together with a railroad. We are fighters who have stood up against tyranny all around the world. Yet at the same time, we're also peacekeepers who have come to the aid of others in their time of need. Nous sommes une nation distincte.
We're a distinct nation with French.
All right, so let me just summarize what's happening here. Remember, Justin Trudeau is the current Prime Minister of Canada. He is the Prime Minister of Canada because he's the leader of the Liberal Party. But Justin Trudeau, whose popularity has gone down, whose popularity had gone down in recent months, I don't know, maybe years. I have to double check this. But who was not very popular in Canada when he made the announcement, announced, I want to say it was a month or two ago, I'm not exactly sure, that he was resigning, that he was no longer going to be the party leader and no longer be the prime minister. So the Liberal Party has a leadership election. That election's been going on today, and they're going to announce the winner of their leadership election, who will become the next prime minister. Now, it's expected that there might be another national election in Canada very soon. But for now, whoever wins this Liberal Party leadership election will become the next prime minister and will run in the upcoming election. And this is Frank Baylis here, who's one of the candidates. I believe there are 4 candidates, but the 2 candidates who have the real chance, from what I understand, are Mark Carney, who is the favorite, and Chrystia Freeland, who is seen as the other realistic possibility. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe, I guess they're all going to come out and speak now, maybe. Here is Chrystia Freeland. Here's Chrystia Freeland right here. There she is. That is Chrystia Freeland. So I guess she's going to speak. Oops, I need to take the caption off. And I think I'll put her on when the music's off. Yeah, I have to wait. So there's Chrystia Freeland. So we need to update we'll hear her speak. So it's basically between her and Mark Carney. All right, so I guess she's going to speak in a second. Again, sorry I can't play the music, but I have to be careful here with the copyrighted music. All right, hang on. One moment. When she starts speaking, she's waving. Music still on. As soon as she starts speaking, I will put the volume on. No, she's still not speaking yet. She might say something about Trump as well. I would not be surprised. Yes, my understanding is that the party election was today. It wasn't a national election. It's a party election to choose the party leader who gets to be the next prime minister until the next election. Hang on here. Oh, chance was today was the last day to vote. Maybe it wasn't all today then. I need to check this up. Hold on. Here she's speaking. Oh, hold on. She's about to speak.
Good evening. Bonsoir. I want to start by thanking the amazing people who have volunteered on my campaign and donated to my campaign. Merci beaucoup. Je vous apprécie.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for all your help.
Et je sais.
And I know that we all want to thank the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this evening as well.
There is a remarkable wave of patriotism across our country. Canadians are ready to stand for Canada. Canadians are ready to fight for Canada. And I know all of us have one message for Donald Trump tonight. Canada will never be the 51st state. Oui, c'est ça. Partout au pays.
Across the country, Canadians are ready to fight for Canada. We're ready to defend Canada. And Canada will never become the 51st U.S. state.
Just in December, people were writing off our Liberal Party. But tonight, we all know that we can, we must, and we will defeat Pierre Poilievre and his maple syrup mega. Oui, on va gagner.
We are going to win.
The Liberal Party is the party that has always fought for Canada, and together we will win. Vive le Canada!
Long live Canada.
Merci.
Okay, they're playing music again. All right, so we are again watching the Liberal Party. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Hang on. This is Karina Gould, I believe, a third of the four candidates. Karina Gould. Oops, I need to fix the caption. So we'll listen to her speak next. So the Liberal Party, by the way, correction, I said the election was today. Today was the last day of the election for the Liberal Party, as one of our viewers said. The election has been going on from February 26th until today. And the announcement of the winner of the election, who would be the next prime minister, is coming up in roughly an hour and 15 minutes. That's when it's expected. So this is Karina Gould. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I can't play the copyrighted music. The favorite to win is Mark Carney. And the other possibility that's seen as realistic is Chrystia Freeland. Where is my... There. So she's going to speak next. You can hear that both candidates so far have mentioned Trump in their short speech to this event. Thanks to PZ Papa Zulu for the gift memberships. Thank you to Mitchell Pilot 909 for your support and Isaac Chavero for becoming a new member. Hey, thanks to our moderators here. We have RJ and Janet B, Beth Mythical, and all of our other YouTube moderators, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha over there on X. We will turn the volume on when she speaks. She's about to speak. Over there on Twitch, Big Ball of Yarn and Surly Dev. Oh, hold on, she's speaking.
Good evening, everyone. Today is a wonderful day for the Liberal Party of Canada.
Great day for the Liberal Party of Canada. I want to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you. You participated, you joined the party, you voted, you volunteered, you made donations, and the Liberal Party of Canada is strong because of each and every one of you. C'est quoi le Parti libéral?
What's the Liberal Party? Well, it's the members, it's the supporters across the country. It's a strong party. Our party is always there to defend Canada and to defend Canadians as well.
Our party is made of incredible Canadians who care so deeply about this country, and it is always the Liberal Party of Canada that stands up for Canada and stands up for Canadians. And this leadership campaign has shown that there are so many Canadians willing to stand strong for Canada. Et moi, je suis plein.
And I'm very inspired because of you, the members of our party. You're here to stand up for Canada.
And through it all, we have remembered who we are as Liberals. I am proud to be a Liberal in Canada. Je suis fière d'être libéral.
I'm proud to be a Liberal here in Canada.
And let's remember, we are the party of healthcare. We are the party of the charter. We are the party of the maple leaf. We are the party of multiculturalism. We are the party of reconciliation. We are the party that fights climate change. And we are the party of national childcare. Et c'est grâce à vous.
And it's thanks to you, thanks to the members and Liberal supporters that always have the best ideas for Canada.
This country who dream big for Canada so that Liberal governments can deliver for Canadians. So tonight, whatever the result, we leave here proud Liberals, proud Canadians, and united so that we can take the fight to Pierre Poilievre, win the next election, and stand up for Canada! Merci tout le monde!
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just repeating what I'm going on here for our viewers who are not from Canada and don't follow Canadian politics because it may be confusing. So, the Prime Minister of Canada right now is Justin Trudeau. Oh, this is Mark Carney. Mark Carney is the favorite to win this Liberal Party election. The Liberal Party is electing its new party leader to replace Justin Trudeau. By replacing Justin Trudeau as the Liberal Party leader, that person will also become the new Prime Minister until the next Canadian national election, which is expected fairly soon. This is Mark Carney. He is the favorite to win. Doesn't mean he will win, but he is the favorite to win this party election. The other realistic possibility is seen as Chrystia Freeland. So he very well might be the next Prime Minister of Canada. And again, he is the favorite to win the election. We'll see what happens. This is Mark Carney. We'll be hearing from him in a second. I appreciate you joining our coverage. And we will be hearing him speak. I'm sorry, I can't play the copyrighted music. Oh, he's speaking already. Here we go.
Hello.
Oops.
Hello.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Je veux vous poser quelques...
I'd like to ask a couple of questions. Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada?
Qui est prêt?
Who's ready to help the Liberal Party win the most important election of our lives? We have to do this. Chrystia's ready. Frank's ready. Karina's ready. Everyone in this room's ready to do that.
C'est ça. We have to win this election. The big election. And we will stand shoulder to shoulder together to do it. Because the stakes have never been higher. You have just heard from my colleagues what we stand for as the Liberal Party. The Charter, healthcare, childcare, opportunity. We have made this the greatest country in the world. And now... And now our neighbors want to take us. No way. No way. Impossible. This party has more than quadrupled its membership in the past 2 months. More than 300,000 members. Old Liberals, and my definition of old has changed, but old Liberals coming back, members who've never been part of a party before, united with one purpose, which is to make Canada even greater pour tous les Canadiens et Canadiennes.
Greater for all Canadians.
Dernier mot. Whatever the result tonight, I'll be proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with my colleague Candida, working with you, with Liberal volunteers across this country in service of Canadians. Merci tout le monde. À bientôt. Vive le Canada.
Thank you and long live.
Oops. So give me one moment. You know, I was thanking our moderators. I didn't even get a chance to thank our Facebook moderators. We have Paul Anderson and Margaret Riley and Kay Lowry Body moderating. Thank you to all of our moderators. Thanks also to Sherry and Bebop and Rocksteady for your support. Now, I don't know, what do they do here? I haven't seen this kind of event before. Are they going to have other people speak too? Let's see what happens. Somebody's speaking. Bebop and Rocksteady. Support. Hold on. Now, I don't know, what do they do here?
Bonjour tout le monde.
Hello, everyone.
Canada. Hello, Liberal Party of Canada. Are we excited? Are we happy? And we should be. Kani Mitch Kijigun Kinun de Nishanakos Kitagan Zibi Donjaban. Quay Kakina Nichkiwe Dug. Mono Sir Claudette.
I'm Claudette Commanda. I'm an Algonquin woman from the Kipikan Zibi First Nation. And I'm ready to be here with you and very happy to be here this evening.
My English name is Claudette Commanda, and I am from the Kitagan Zibi Algonquin First Nation, and I'm very honored to be here with each and every one of you. I know there are many that I can't see, and you cannot see me, but that's okay. What's important is that you hear me, we hear one another, and we're here together as brothers and sisters in this beautiful land called Canada. Greetings, distinguished guests, leaders, community members, citizens of Canada, and to the candidates. Welcome to this beautiful traditional homeland of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. Welcome. Welcome. Bijajig Oma. Bienvenue ici. The land of the Anishinaabe ancestors since time immemorial, the land of our people today and tomorrow. I respect and honor the first and original ancestors of this land, the Anishinaabe ancestors, whom I come from and whom I'm very proud of. And as I acknowledge my ancestors, I acknowledge the ancestors of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And ladies and gentlemen, no matter where we come from, no matter our political stripes, no matter our title, each and every one of you, I honor and acknowledge your ancestors, because we are all together, all together. But for our ancestors, we would not be here. And as we embark on a new journey starting today, with principles of yesterday, with love and kindness and respect for one another, and learning from the wisdom of past leaders, elders, and community members, this journey will be one that will be filled with love and respect and kindness. And my blessing for you indeed is one of love. May the Creator bless you. Miigwej gijimina do kichimigwej kinakego. Kichimigwej onje nichkiwe do gikwe waga shishininini wag. And may the Creator bless you with a good heart, good health, strength, and guidance. Let us show kindness and respect for one another as peers, as colleagues, and leaders. Let us embrace the spirit and intent of community, because that's who you need to be, and that's who we are, community. Community. Let us embrace the spirit of love for one another and to one another. And that love is so much needed today, because we see what's going on out there. And let no one break love. People want to be negative, let them be negative. It belongs to them. For love belongs to us, is what's important. Important. And I leave you with these closing words. Love is the strength of the land. Love is the courage of the heart. Love is the guidance of visions. And love is the future for all our children. All our children. All our children. Best of luck to all the candidates. Just know, no matter what, we will walk together, we will work together, and this country will remain the country that it is for all our children today and tomorrow. And my friends, Ayongwamazin, Nigawabmin, Gizagiyin, I love you all. Take good care. Best of luck.
Okay, so we're waiting for the Liberal Party of Canada to announce who won the Liberal Party election for their party leader. That person will become the new Prime Minister of Canada until their next national election, which could happen quite soon. So we're keeping an eye on this. Also, just to update you, I have been posting about this on my X account for the last hour or so. There was a small plane crash in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, near the Lancaster Airport. The FAA says 5 people were on board. Is this a song or something? Let me see. Yeah, so I'm not going to play this right now. They're playing, it's the Canadian national anthem. So there was a small plane crash near Lancaster Airport in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. A plane crashed into the parking lot of a retirement community. There were 5 people on board the plane, according to the FAA. It was a Beechcraft Bonanza airplane. And the FAA says it will investigate. The account I follow, Breaking Aviation News and Videos, posted audio which seemed to suggest that the pilot said, in which the pilot says he has an open door and is attempting to return to the airport, and apparently was not successful in returning to the airport. So anyways, when I have more updates on that, I will let you know. So that was not an airline plane. That was a small plane. I assume it was. I don't know if it was a private plane or some business was operating it, but yes. And for people, just so people are aware, smaller plane crashes are fairly regular occurrences. They happen fairly regularly. That's not a new thing, so, unfortunately. So I would not draw a conclusion. Oh, hold on. What is this going on here? Hold on.
Glorious, improbable work in progress that is Canada, and to serve its people through the
2012
only party
video
willing to speak to and for all Canadians, the Liberal Party of Canada. Nous avons battu.
Sorry, I can't play the music. They're playing music and showing a montage of Justin Trudeau. Will Justin Trudeau come out and speak after this? Maybe he's going to speak right now. Justin Trudeau. He resigned But he announced he was resigning, but said he's been staying on until a new leader has been chosen. Well, that is going to happen today. So, yeah, my guess is that he would come out and speak after this. So, just in moments, we might be seeing him speak. On January 6th, 2 months ago, he announced he was going to step down as the head of the party. Okay, so I assume we're going to hear from him. Now, is there music still on? Let's see. Is there still music on?
Still more.
Yes, I have to wait until the music is done. They're playing a montage of him. So we're watching the Liberal Party election results event here. It says, "Thank you, merci, Justin Trudeau." Prime Minister from 2015 until the present. Leader of Liberal Party since 2013. He's been leading the party for 12 years. Let's see here. Is he going to come out now and speak? Let's see.
Veuillez accueillir Ella Grace Trudeau.
Oh, hold on. All right, he's going to come out, I think. Oh, wait, hold on.
Hi, everyone. I've come here to talk to you about your Prime Minister, your leader, but to me, it's just Dad. Je crois qu'on sait tous que...
I think we all know that being a Prime Minister is not the easiest job in the world. Long days of work, stress, media attention.
Not that easy to be the kid of a Prime Minister either. I've been trying hard to live the life of a normal teenager, but I think you can imagine it's not that simple of a task. La sécurité, les règles.
Security, rules, drama have all stopped me feeling free over the past few years. The number of times who spoke to me about him as if he wasn't my father. So that led me to doubt the integrity of some people.
Conversations with my dad about the difficult situations I've lived through, and he never failed to make me feel better. He listened, and more than that, I knew he heard me, he understood me, because he lived through all that. The only difference is that back then there was no social media. Imagine constantly seeing your dad or even news about him as you scroll through your feed. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him at home and less of him online. But I would never trade the last few years for anything. Dad, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to have seen you fight for our country, for what you believe in, for what we, in this room, believe in. Fier de t'avoir vu.
Proud to have seen you fight for those in need.
I'm extremely grateful to have lived these experiences and grateful to those around me who have made it even just a little bit easier. Je suis tellement chanceuse d'avoir pu vivre.
I'm so lucky to have been able to experience so much, to meet so many extraordinary people, to see so many beautiful things and places.
Memories I've made, it be at Harrington Lake, on official trips, or even just at home. And I'm really looking forward to making some new memories of a different kind. My brothers and I have shared our dad with you for the past 12 years. Now we're taking him back. But before we do, I guess you can have him one last time. Please welcome your Prime Minister, my dad, Justin Trudeau.
Okay, so Justin Trudeau is going to speak now. As soon as the music is done, we will hear him speak. He is a couple months ago, he said he was going to resign as the leader of the Liberal Party and the Prime Minister of Canada, and he is addressing the party he has led, I believe, since 2013. So let's listen to Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister Trudeau still, speak.
Bonsoir, mes amis. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Hello, my friends. You know, as I look out across this room, I have just one question. How's the Liberal Party doing tonight?
Ella Grace, I know that these last few years haven't been easy for Sav. Hey, Adrienne, yourself. Thank you for having been so patient with me, even when I was stressed, when I was traveling too much, when I couldn't think about anything other than work. But please know that in the most difficult times, you inspired me. You gave me courage. You reminded me that I should focus on what was really important and not what was just urgent. Being Prime Minister of this country has been the honor of my life, but I'm so looking forward to redevoting myself to my most important role, that of father. I'm proud of the three of you, and I love you above all.
Now, sit down. Now, I can imagine that you're all expecting me to stand up and talk about all that we've accomplished together. And don't get me wrong, I am damn proud of what we've done over these past 10 years for the middle class and people working hard to join it. But tonight is about our future as a party, as a country. Now, I know that we as Liberals, as a government, often get criticized by our friends for not taking a victory lap after we get something big done. We do something really big, and then we move on right away to the next challenge. Because as progressives, as Liberals, we know there is always more to do. So it is important to take the time to reflect on and share the big successes. But not tonight. Not tonight, because when Liberals gather, we're always focused on just one thing: the work that still needs to be done to build a country that stays worthy of all Canadians. And simply put, that's the work of a lifetime for each and every one of us. It's very simple. Liberals are dedicated to making this country even better, not because we think it's broken, but because we have an opportunity and therefore a responsibility to ensure that Canada stays the best country on earth. Now, these past 10 years have been challenging. Crisis after crisis has been thrown at Canadians. But through every crisis, Canadians have shown who they are. We've pulled together, we've stood up for each other, and every single time we've emerged even stronger. And now, as Canadians face from our neighbor an existential challenge, an economic crisis, Canadians are showing exactly what we are made of. Canadians are showing what it is that makes us Canadians. Not by defining ourselves by who we're not, but by proudly embracing who we are. We're a country that knows that standing up for everyone's fundamental rights is the only way to protect our freedom. We're a country that believes no one should be left behind and that everyone should have a real and fair shot at success. We're a country that refuses to accept the false choice between a strong economy and a healthy environment. We're a country that embraces reconciliation and Indigenous peoples as true partners because it is the only path to a shared, prosperous future.
We are a country that promotes its culture and protects its heritage. We're a country that breathes life into the French language and is heard across the world. We're a country that celebrates its diversity and draws strength from its differences.
We're a country that celebrates the right of each and every person to be who they want to be, to pray as they pray, and love whom they love. We're a country that will always defend a woman's right to choose. And we're a country that will be diplomatic when we can, but fight when we must, elbows up. But you here in this room, and our fellow Liberals watching across the country, you know all about fighting with grit, with determination, when the going gets tough. You remember where we were 15 years ago with just 35 seats in the House. You remember our ups and downs and all those times that people counted us out, all the times they said our party was on its last breath. Like all Canadians, it's when you try to count us out that we Liberals show our true mettle.
You showed this in 2015, 2019, and again in 2021. You mobilized. You knocked on doors. You did it in the rain, in a heat wave, in the freezing cold. You did it in the middle of a pandemic, wearing a mask. You fought for your country, and you've changed it for the better. You know, a party is more than just a name, a logo, a leader. It's all about you. You who carry the hopes of Canadians day in, day out. A country is more than a flag and a territory. It's a vision which is built gradually, day after day, between friends and neighbours. And I'd like to thank all those who have been there to build this vision together. I'm thinking here about my first volunteers 18 years ago, those who have been there since the start. Rennes, Louis-Alexandre, Stavroula, and others, so many others. I'm thinking about the grocery store parking lot in Papineau, when we talk to people to rally them to our cause, to our movement.
Also thinking of two friends in particular who've been there with me and for me every step of the way for close to 20 years. The extraordinary Adam Scotty and the unstoppable Katie Telford. Now, as I look at all of you in this room, no speech could be enough to thank you all as much as I'd like to, as much as you should be. I can't even offer you a well-deserved break because, once again, we need you. Your country needs you maybe more than ever. And I have no doubt that you will answer the call because you've done it before. Liberals will meet this moment. And make no mistake, this is a nation-defining moment. Democracy is not a given. Freedom is not a given. Even Canada is not a given. None of those happen by accident. None of them will continue without effort. It takes courage. It takes sacrifice. It takes hope and hard work. "60 years ago, standing atop Parliament Hill, Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson first raised our beautiful maple leaf into the Canadian sky. It was much debated at the time, but Pearson knew well what we all know now, that our flag would serve as a unifying symbol that would define the next chapters in our national story. 60 years later, there are still so many more chapters to write. And I can tell you, the world is looking to see what Canadians will do. So let us not dwell on all the great things we've achieved over the past 10 years. Let us aspire instead to achieve even more over the next 10 years and the decades to come. Let us remain steadfast, defiant, and united. And let us not just think about our party, let us prove our love of country. As your leader, as your Prime Minister, I have done my level best each and every single day to help build a country that stays worthy of all Canadians. I've done it for Xavier, for Ella Grace and Hadrian. And I've done it for your kids too. And I've done it with you. And although you'll always find me alongside you, cheering along, their future and your future is now in your hands. Merci, mes amis. Merci pour tout.
That has been Justin Trudeau. I think they're playing music now. Hold on. No, they're not playing it yet. Wait on. Hold on a second. There it goes. The current Liberal Party leader and Prime Minister, but stepping down. And shortly we'll find out who is next. So again, he is resigning as the party leader and therefore as the prime minister, since the prime minister of the Liberal Party is the leader of the Liberal Party at this point, based on the previous election results. So we will find out shortly who won the Liberal Party leadership election that has finished today, and who is going to be the next prime minister and leader of the party. Is this some Jean Chrétien? I'm so bad. I think, am I right? Am I right, Canadians? Let's see what he's saying. Former Prime Minister of Canada. All right, hold on.
Ministers and MPs, good evening. This is an exceptional opportunity for me to be here this evening. This is my ninth Liberal convention that I participated in. And it's the 7th time that I've spoken at the podium. I would have never thought that I could do it at 91. I'm still ready to fight. I have fight in me yet.
So many young people in the room today. It reminds me of my first Liberal convention when I was the president of the Young Liberals at Laval University. In 1958, when Lester Pearson was elected Liberal leader. In 1958, not many of you were born. And he then became a very good prime minister. I have kept coming to Liberal Convention for 68 years. I have kept coming back to Liberal Convention because of what the Liberal Party stands for. I have kept coming back because of what the Liberal Party has delivered to make the lives of Canadians better. And I am here today because it is the Liberal Party that can best deliver the better lives for Canadians in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. It is the Liberal Party that has given Canadians the Canadian Pension Plan and Medicare, the Charter of Rights and Freedom, the 2 official languages that put the Indigenous rights into the Canadian Constitution, brought in tough gun control laws, affirmative action. We have always supported women's right to choose. We are the party who led the way to permit, the second party in the country in the world to permit same-sex marriage. The party is the party of diversity, equality, tolerance, openness, and inclusiveness. We Liberals call it the very essence of Canada. And it is the Liberal Party that gave us the red maple leaf flag 60 years ago, which flew so proudly in homes across the country on the 14th of February to demonstrate our patriotism and love for Canada. I want to say a special thank you to former Prime Ministers Joe Clark, Harper, Martin, Campbell, for coming together with me to rally Canadians across the land to show the Canadian flag with pride, with a lot of pride. But tonight, I want to pay tribute to Justin Trudeau. I want to pay tribute to him for taking the Liberal Party from third place to government and three successive election victories. I want to pay tribute to what he and his team have accomplished. Canadian Child Benefit, to reduce the poverty for the children in Canada. The $10 child care that opened the labor market to so many women. For the dental plan for low-income Canadians. For all the work they've done on the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, these are liberal policies. And let's talk about the economic reality of the moment now. Because Canada has done well. This, I'm telling you, as I've said so many times, Canada is not broken. Despite the attacks by the critics, Canada has the lowest deficit per capita in the G7. More than 5 times lower than in the United States. For the lowest debt per capita in the G7. And in fact, the payment on the interest of the debt today is only 11% for each dollar of tax we pay, and compared to what we got when we formed the government in 1993, we were obliged to pay 35 cents in every tax dollar. That was a little problem the Tories left to me. And we balanced the books. We took that mess from the Tories and we balanced the books. And we had 10 years of surplus. And the Tories came back to power and we went back in debt. Now inflation is 1.9% in Canada. It's 3.2% and increasing south of the border. You know, I spend my life talking about job creation. Now the problem, we're looking for manpower. It's a difficult problem, but it's better than the reverse. You know, I want to pay tribute to the government, to Mr. Trudeau, and to all the provincial governments for the fact that they have been with the municipalities put together the best program on the pandemic that we face, better than any other country in the world. Our debt rate was less than half of the United States. Today, as a party, we're choosing a new leader. A leader who will assume the mantle of Laurier and King, Saint Laurent and Pearson, Trudeau's father, Trudeau the son, who has with him a very beautiful daughter. You know, I'm old enough to say that. and myself. And I want, that is very important, I want to take this moment to say how impressed I am by the quality of the candidates whose names are on the ballot tonight. It makes me very, very proud to be a Liberal. Et maintenant, parlons.
And now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The long and fruitful friendship with the Americans, built over decades, which is falling apart before our eyes and is becoming something which is difficult to name. Mutual respect, trust, reciprocal cooperation, friendship, which have long characterized our relationship, are now giving way to wariness and more open hostility from the Trump administration towards our country. This is something we've never seen, but this is something that Canadians don't understand, and I think the majority of Americans don't understand it either, without mentioning the rest of the planet. Why? Well, why? Historians, journalists, university researchers and experts in international politics are trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. Well, in Canada, our elbows are up. We're working together to unite, to deal with this threat, the threat to our economy and our sovereignty. In other words, our very existence as a country. At the beginning of the week, tariffs became a reality, and there will only be losers if you measure it in financial terms alone. But for Canadians, it's more than that. It's more than money that's at stake here. We love our country and our independence. We love who we are because we're unique in the world.
To the Trudeau government and all the Premier for the way they have led Canada in the last few weeks in confronting the menace imposed on us. With tariffs completely unjustified. Governments have absolutely right in retaliating as they have, and I congratulate all of them. If it is necessary, the governments altogether can consider going further, anything the Americans where it really hurts, by imposing an export tax on oil, gas, potash, steel, aluminum, and electricity. And we'll use that money to build infrastructure that are needed in Canada. For example, to build a pipeline for natural gas from Alberta to Quebec. Alberta, the family of my mother, and Quebec, of my father. So, you know, I think that if we do that, that will keep the steel workers working in Canada for a long time. And I could go on, but I'm limited in time. So, the world has lived for 80 years with a rule-based order that has brought us peace and prosperity. It has enabled the United States to be the strongest, the most powerful country in the world. It has allowed all of us to sleep well every night. And now, Donald Trump has decided to throw it all out the window. We are going to be living very difficult time, but I'm very confident that the next Prime Minister will work with the premiers, the leaders of all the political parties in the House of Commons, and allies around the world to stand together to meet the challenges that Mr. Trump is creating for the whole world. And perhaps, speaking of the President, it is time for a little history lesson for him. Probably does not realize that in 1776, Benjamin Franklin spent a year in Montreal trying to convince the people to join the American Revolution. And he was told by the Francophone, non merci. And they were right. Look what happened to the French language in Louisiana. The Loyalists left the USA to come back to Upper Canada and the Atlantic. And the Francophone and Lower Canada, together they built our independent country. During the War of 1812, Americans came to what is now Canada on a mission of conquest. They were defeated by Colonel de Salaberry in what is now Quebec, and by leaders like the great indigenous chief Tecumseh in what is now Ontario. And I don't know, apparently some burned the White House at that time. But I'm too old to do it. No, it's a joke. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have been friend and good neighbor with our southern neighbors. But we must stand up for ourselves. Historically, despite our friendship, we have had problems, but we always found a way to solve them. We have worked with and collaborated with the United States in the past, and I'm telling you, we will do so in the future. We are good neighbors and friends. We are good neighbors and friends, but we are proud and independent country. But sometimes one must stand up for Canada. We must always be vigilant. And I did so as minister and as prime minister. Way back in 1968, when the Americans sent a ship, the Manhattan, with no Canadian flag through our Northern Passage, they wanted to prove that the passage was international water. As Minister of Northern Affairs, I flew to Pond Inlet at the northern extremity of Baffinland to confront them. I was on the Louis Saint Laurent icebreaker, I called the captain. I said, I will be there in an hour. And it's better to have the Canadian flag at the mast. I took... When I arrived, there was the Canadian flag at the mast. And I had a big smile. You know, we had other problems of the same nature. You remember Newfoundland, the so-called fish war, when we arrested Este, when my friend Tobin made a great show at the UN with the illegal nets, and we were successful. They changed the international laws after that because there was a problem that needed to be fixed. And I'm quite proud of it, and it was quite a time. Yeah. I was traveling in the West. I came back. It was Holy Week. So it was a Thursday, Holy Week. So my wife said, we'll have a good rest for the weekend. And I said, perhaps not, because I'm declaring war to Spain. She did not sleep. But, you know, we had another problem on the West Coast. You know, we have Vancouver Island, the mainland, and Canadian waters. And the fishermen from Oregon and Washington State were going to Alaska, but they were not respecting our water. So we threatened them to block the passage on Canadian water and force them to go in the high seas. It was a very difficult problem. The senator of Alaska said it was almost a question of war. So I discussed that, and I talked with my friend Bill Clinton, and he said, it's out of Canada, there's not much I can do. I said, if you cannot do something, I will do something. And they were forced to respect our laws. Some were taken to courts, and after that, the problem was solved because we stood for us strongly. But for 8 years, I was a colleague of Bill Clinton, and he would always say that Canada was his best ally, and that I was a very good friend, and we still are very good friends. But we worked together, and we found solutions together. And it's what happened in the future, too. We always been good neighbors with anybody. So I was proud, too, when I was Prime Minister, and I had to say no to the participation in the American invasion of Iraq. That decision told the United States and the world that Canada is a proud, independent country. Of course, the business community was very nervous. They were afraid of retaliation. So I told them, okay, give me the list of all the goods and all the services that the Americans are buying from us because they like us. I've not received the list yet. So, you know, we will work in collaboration with them. But, you know, they have to understand, and everybody understand, that we are a very proud country. And for me, I can tell you that sometimes I can say this. from one old guy to another old guy. Stop this nonsense. Canada will never join the United States. I can tell you that my parents were not millionaires from New York. They were workers from Shawinigan. But my mother taught us good manners. She would have been ashamed of me if I had treated anyone the way that the president treated my prime minister and the president in Ukraine in the last few weeks. The reason we don't want to become American is because our values as Canadians. We are proud Canadians, and yes, we owe a debt of recognition to Mr. Trump. He has united us as never before. So I want to say thank you to him. And I think I will propose him for the Order of Canada. I'm just kidding. Mesdames et messieurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I was Prime Minister, I would travel across the world. I went to the UN, to the G7, to NATO, to the Commonwealth, to the Francophonie, and to all sorts of international meetings on the 5 continents. When I came back to Canada, each time I would say that the job of being Prime Minister is perhaps the easiest of any country in the world. Canada is the country that works the best, I think, much better than any other country in the world.
There are millions and millions of human beings from all over the world who would like to come and become Canadian citizens. There was a survey not long ago. They were asking the people, where will you want to go if you had to start again your life? And Canada was number 1. Why? Is because Canada is the land of freedom. Canada is the land of opportunity, the land of generosity, the land of tolerance, the land of stability, the land of rule of law. It is our land that is the envy of the world. Canada will continue to rise through north strong and free. Nobody will starve us into submission because Canada is and will remain the best country in the world. Vive le Canada!
Former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien. That was Jean Chrétien, the former Prime Minister. Apologies for my pronunciation previously. So we're just moments away. We're moments away from hearing who the next Prime Minister will be. This is the Liberal Party. So the Liberal Party of Canada controls the government because of what happened in the last election. They got the most seats in Parliament. They formed a government. So the head of the Liberal Party gets to be the Prime Minister until the next election. But Justin Trudeau is resigning as head of the Liberal Party, so they're choosing a new leader. We're going to hear about short in moments who the winner of this election and the new Prime Minister is.
How is everyone doing tonight? Let me ask that one more time. How are all the Liberals from coast to coast to coast doing tonight? Vraiment, c'est un plaisir de voir tout le monde.
Great pleasure to see all of you here.
Liberal Party of Canada. Mon nom est Sachmera. Je suis le président du Parti libéral du Canada. And what a night. What a leadership race. Before I get into it, I want to take this moment to thank a few people. And it starts with our volunteers. Do not underestimate the ability of committed volunteers to affect real change. Because of all of you tonight, our party is at one of the strongest points in its history. In 2 months, we delivered a leadership race that was fair and secure. And I really want to thank all the members of our national board that showed up and delivered. Please stand up, national board members. Merci aux membres de notre conseil d'administration.
I'd like to thank the members of the board.
And to everyone at LPC HQ, from staff across the country. Thank you for your hope. Thank you for your long hours. Thank you for your hard work. You have helped deliver one of the most secure leadership contests in the history of Canada. I also want to thank, of course, our leader, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
I'd like to take some time to talk about the Prime Minister's legacy. He was Prime Minister for more than 10 years, and he led us to 3 consecutive victories.
Really quick, let me just explain what's going on. Again, we are watching the announcement by Canada's Liberal Party. They're about to announce who won the election for party leader. That person will become the next Canadian Prime Minister, replacing Justin Trudeau, who has been the party leader, and because he's the party leader, he gets to be the Prime Minister based on what happened in the last national election in Canada. So we are about to hear who won the election. The favorite to win is Mark Carney. The other realistic possibility to win the party election is Chrystia Freeland, but the favorite is Mark Carney. And we're going to hear in moments who won.
Prime Minister, thank you for your leadership to our party and to our country. But most of all, thank you for being a friend to everyone in this room and to Canadians everywhere.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Chrétien for being here this evening. What a great speech, as always.
Order of Canada Award, for sure. Before we get to the moment that we have all been waiting for, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all of our amazing candidates. To Frank, to Chrystia, Mark, Karina, merci pour vos incroyables campagnes.
Thank you for your incredible campaigns.
Merci pour l'inspiration que vous avez donnée à notre
Thank you for inspiring our party and Canadians.
your staff and volunteers who put their hands up to get involved in this most important race. Everyone should be proud of their hard work. In fact, we have welcomed hundreds of thousands of new registered Liberals from across the country. Many of them are with us tonight. Some of you, and I met a few of you, for the very first time. Et le momentum positif n'arrête pas ici. And the positive momentum doesn't stop here. We just recently announced our best ever Q1 for grassroots fundraising in the history of the party. And we still have another 21 days to go. My friends, together we are ready for the year ahead, but we need each and every one of you. 2025, as we all know, is an election year, and we all need to be ready. We need to knock on doors, make those calls, and chip in where we can, because only together will we win the fight for a strong Canada. Who's with me? Now, who's ready? Now it's the moment to announce our new leader. Maintenant, c'est le moment d'annoncer notre nouveau chef ou notre nouvelle.
It's now time to announce our new leader.
Results. I'm happy to invite on stage Beatrice Keller-Rafoul, who has been serving as the Chief Electoral Officer for the vote and protecting the integrity of the process.
Here we go.
Now have the pleasure to invite Beatrice Keller.
We're about to hear who won the party leadership election.
And has worked to protect the
Will it be
integrity
the
of the process.
favorite Mark
Beatrice, over to you.
Carney? Will it be Chrystia Freeland? Who is going to be the next prime minister? We're going to hear it right now. Next
A
Canadian
reminder
prime minister.
that the winner must receive more than 50% of the points allocated in a ballot to win. The following are the results of the first ballot with 151,899 votes cast. In fourth place, Frank Baylis with 4,038 votes, resulting in 1,014 allocated points, representing 3% of the vote. In third place, Karina Gould with 4,785 votes, resulting in 1,100 allocated points, representing 3.2% of the vote. In second place, Chrystia Freeland with 11,134 votes, resulting in 2,729 allocated points, representing 8% of the vote. In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes, resulting in 29,457 allocated points, representing 85.9% of the vote.
A big victory for Mark Carney. He got 85% of the Liberal Party votes. Wow. So it was not very close. It was thought, realistically it was going to be him or Chrystia Freeland, but got over 85% of the vote. He is the next Prime Minister of Canada. I assume he's going to speak right now. I can't play the music they're playing right now, but Mark Carney, wow. And sometime this year, October or earlier, there will be a national election in Canada, and he will represent the Liberals and try to stay as Prime Minister against the Conservatives and other parties. So Mark Carney, the next Prime Minister of Canada, hang on, do I need to, so I think we'll probably see him speak, I assume. I haven't seen one of these events before. I think they're playing music still. Yeah, so I have to wait till they stop playing the music. But a convincing victory among the party voters. Over 150,000, around 150,000 voters in the party voted, and he got around 85% of the vote. I believe he's never held elective office. I think he was a governor of the Bank of Canada. But he is not a career politician. So he is the next Prime Minister. And again, as soon as he starts, if he's speaking, yes, and he also was he the head of the Bank of England? Yeah, he was the governor of the Bank of England for a while as well. We are waiting here. Hang on a moment. Oh, hold on. Hang on.
Thank you. And good evening. Bonsoir. I'm going to try and deliver this speech with as much grace and poise as Ella Grace. I, too, am introducing my father tonight because I want Canadians to understand what kind of a man he is. And who is better qualified to speak on his character than his daughter? My father is, to his core, a man of commitment. I don't just mean that in a general sense. He is unflinchingly dedicated to what matters, focused and principled, funny and kind. Canadians care about actions, and my father is a man of action, a man who has traveled the length of Canada to hear what Canadians want from their leaders, what they want for their future. He's up early to read his papers and stays up late preparing for the next day. He has taught me the importance of always putting in the work. But you can work hard all you want. If you don't have a solid foundation, there's nothing to build on. And that's what I really want to share with you tonight, the foundation that makes my father who he is. He is unwaveringly supportive of the things he cares about. Every year for our birthdays, he burned us CDs, and somehow they were good. Sometimes now, when we don't know what to get him, we make him a playlist. He cheered me on in the freezing cold at my cross-country races. He sat for hours to help me with my math homework, persevering until I understood. I can tell you that I appreciate this more in hindsight than I did at the time. In all seriousness, my dad invests in what matters. He expects nothing to come without hard work, and he is always ready to work hard. The bottom line is, however hard things may seem, he shows up and never lets you down. He has and always will show up for you, for Canadians, and for Canada, because he cares about this great country. Now, my father, your new Liberal leader, and the 24th Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. Merci.
We're going to hear Mark Carney speak. He is the next Prime Minister of Canada. New Prime Minister of Canada. Either way, he's going to speak right now. He got 85.9% of the Liberal Party leadership election vote. So he won convincingly in this leadership election. He is the next Prime Minister.
Just skip a generation. Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Wow. This room is strong. This room is Canada strong. Thank you, Cleo. Thank you, Cleo. And to my wife, Diana, our children, Cleo, Tess, Amelia, and Sasha. Without your support, I wouldn't be standing here. And like the Prime Minister, without your examples, I wouldn't have a purpose. And without your love, I wouldn't have the strength that I need for what lies ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Chrétien, you still know how to energize the Liberal Party supporters like no one else can do it. You took courageous and historic decisions. You showed our allies that Canada will always stand up for what is just and fair. You're a source of inspiration for all Canadians across the land.
I say that you inspired my family to become Liberals, including my father to run as a Liberal candidate in Alberta in the 1980s. Some elections are tougher than others. And you inspired me. You inspired me over the years. And now to have an opportunity to continue your tradition of fiscal responsibility, social justice, and international leadership. Prime Minister Trudeau, my time doesn't permit me to recognize all your accomplishments, so I'll speak at a higher level. You have combined strength and compassion every day as a fighter for Canada. You have led us through some of the hardest challenges that this nation has ever faced.
At the same time, you have transformed Canada. You've transformed it. You've lifted hundreds of thousands of kids out of poverty. By moving reconciliation forward and by defending freedom and democracy here and across the world. Prime Minister, I think I am speaking for everyone here when I thank you for your hard work. As Ella Grace said, your hard work, for your leadership, and for your service to our great country. And I'd also like to thank you, Liberals, for having awarded me the greatest honor possible, which is to serve as your new leader. Thank you.
Et merci, merci.
I'd like to thank the tens of thousands of volunteers across the country who have devoted themselves to rebuilding our country and to giving back hope to our country.
I pledge to you and to all Canadians that I will follow their example. I will work day and night with one purpose, which is to build a stronger Canada for everyone. But I will need help. I will need a lot of help. And so I'd like to thank Chrystia, Frank, and Karina for your energy and ideas and leadership that you have brought to this campaign. And I would like also to thank those ministers who remained in their posts to serve Canada directly during this time of great peril. And to the incredible group of Liberal MPs that we have. You are the voices for your communities, and you are the conscience of our party. Thank you for your service. Now, to give a sense of that service, I'm going to quote from a message that I and Chrystia and Karina and Frank, the four of us, received from someone called Bob Zettel. Now, Bob, full disclosure, I know the leader of the opposition's into full disclosure, so I'm going to full disclosure. Full disclosure, just want to get this on the table. Bob goes to my church. Actually, I go to Bob's church because he goes there a lot more frequently than I do. Anyways, point is, Bob wrote to the four candidates, and he said, I quote, "Right now, everyone sees the main threat as the Trump tariffs. But the far greater challenge will be, as it always has been, to foster unity and a sense of the common good. There are those who will seek power by dividing us." We'll get to that later on. And we being the people of Canada, we need you, my fellow candidates, myself, to continue in positions of leadership to promote a united Canada, a commitment to common good and the respect and the rule of law throughout the world. See, I quote Bob because right now all Canadians are being asked to serve in their own ways. We're all being called to stand up for each other and for the Canadian way of life. So let me ask you, who's ready? Pierre, who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? 100%. Yes. Yes. Yes, Canada. Yes, Canada. The Liberal Party is united and strong and ready to fight to build an even better country. Now, I feel like everything in my life has helped prepare me for this moment. 2 months ago, I put up my hand to run for leader because I felt we needed big changes, but big changes guided by strong Canadian values. The values I learned at the dinner table from my parents, Bob and Verly, and my three siblings, Brenda, Sean, and Brian. Values that I learned at the hockey rinks of Edmonton from my coaches, such as Stormin Norman Lee. He exists. We didn't call him that to his face, by the way, but that was his. My parents were teachers, and they stressed the importance of hard work, of community, and of tolerance. My coaches were dedicated volunteers who taught me the importance of teamwork, ambition, and because it's Canada, humility. Des bonnes valeurs.
The right values, Canadian values. I took them with me to university, and I kept them close to me when I was called upon to manage crises here in Canada and across the world. These same values have guided me in my work to build strong economies. And today, I will use those values again as we face this most serious crisis in a generation.
Know that new threats demand new ideas and a new plan. They know that new challenges demand new leadership. Canadians want positive leadership that will end division and help us build together. And to respond, my government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders. Pour être clair.
Now, to be clear here, this will require change, big change. But I know that Canadians are ready. They've told me so across the country. People want change because they're concerned. They're concerned about the cost of living and the housing crisis as well. They're worried for the future of their young, their kids. They're worried about the future of Canada in the face of President Trump's threats and a more divided and dangerous world.
Now, I am a pragmatist above all. So when I see that something's that's not working, I will change it. So my government will immediately eliminate the divisive consumer carbon tax on families and farmers and small and medium-sized businesses. And we will stop the hike in the capital gains tax because we think builders should be incentivized for taking risks and rewarded when they succeed. Canada needs more of this type of change. Change that puts more money in people's pockets. Change that makes our companies more competitive. Change that builds the strongest economy in the G7. Now, there's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Yeah, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't. I am proud of the response of Canadians who are making their voices heard and their wallets felt. I am grateful for how our provinces are stepping up to the fight, because when we are united, we are Canada strong. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. Yeah. And until they can join us in making credible and reliable commitments to free and fair trade, as Chrystia did. Yeah. And in the meantime, we will ensure that all the proceeds from our tariffs will be used to protect our workers.
Now the Americans, they want our resources, our water, our land, our country even. Never. Think about that for a moment. That will destroy our way of life.
Want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Thank you. America is a melting pot. Canada is a mosaic.
In the US, differences are not respected or recognized. First Nations aren't recognized. And the French language would never have any rights. The joie de vivre culture and the French language are part of our identity. And we must protect that. We must promote that as well. We'll never give them up for any trade agreement.
Yeah. Look, Canada, America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Look, we didn't ask for this fight. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Now to Americans, I say to you, as in hockey, we will win.
Mais cette victoire.
But that victory won't be easy. We're facing the greatest crisis of our lifetimes. We have to do extraordinary things, and together. We have to build things that we've never imagined we would have to do at a pace we would have never believed possible. And above all, we must place people above money. We have to unite to build the strongest, the fairest, and the freest country in the world.
Now, Donald Trump is trying to weaken our economy. But there's someone else who, if he succeeds, will weaken our economy. It's Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre just doesn't get it. He is the type of lifelong politician, and I've seen this type around the world, a lifelong politician who worships at the altar of the free market despite never having made a payroll himself. And And now, in the face of President Trump's threats, Pierre Poilievre still refuses to get his security clearance. At a time when our national security is under threat as has never been before. At a time of immense economic insecurity, he would undermine the Bank of Canada. Monsieur Poilievre
has called for the shutting down of CBC at a time when disinformation and foreign interference are on the march. He insults our mayors and ignores the First Nations when it's time to build. He intends to put an end to international aid when democracy and human rights are in danger across the world. And he will also allow our planet to burn.
Poilievre would let our planet burn.
By the way, Pierre Poilievre is the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada.
It's ideology that betrays what we as Canadians value, each other. It's an ideology that also represents a fundamental misunderstanding of how the economy works. Now, unlike Pierre Poilievre, I've actually worked in the private sector. I know how the world works, and I know how it can be made to work better for all of us. And that knowledge is especially useful now in the service of Canadians when we must build a new economy and create new trading relationships. Let me tell you something else that we know that Pierre Poilievre doesn't. We know that markets don't have values, people do. And we know as Liberals that it's our job to make markets, to make the economy work for all Canadians. These are the most powerful tool we've ever invented. They can find solutions to our greatest problems. And when the private sector, when the markets are governed well, they deliver great jobs and stronger growth faster than anything. But markets are also indifferent to human suffering, and they are blind to our greatest needs. So when they're not governed well, or not at all, they will deliver enormous wealth for the lucky few and hard times for the rest. And in this crisis, we must help those who are hit hardest by the American tariffs while we build our strength here at home. That's the right thing to do. That's the fair thing to do. That is the Canadian thing to do. That is what makes us strong. So Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Because a person who worships at the altar of Donald Trump will kneel before him, not stand up to him. Pierre Poilievre's slogans are not solutions. His anger is in action. His division is in strength. Division won't win a trade war. Division won't pay the rent or the mortgage. Division won't bring down the price of groceries. Division won't make Canada strong. Voilà où mène la...
This is where negative politics and division and anger takes us. Half of the U.S. fears the other half. They're wary of each other. We can't allow such a situation to occur here in Canada. The Americans are increasingly divided, and this will weaken them. And we will win this fight if we are united and strong. Yes, we might disagree over policy. We might disagree over hockey. You can support the Oilers in Ottawa. That's possible. It's a free country, after all. But when it comes to Canada, we're all on the same side. Let's choose to be strong. Canada strong.
Now, I've learned a few things from long experience in crises. And the first is that plan beats no plan. And you need to distinguish what you can change from what you can't. We can't change Donald Trump. Can't change him. Nous devons comprendre ce que...
But we have to understand what we can and we must change. We are masters in our own house.
And we can. And because we're masters in our own home, we can control our economic destiny with a plan that puts more money in your pockets. A plan that will ensure your government spends less so Canada can invest more. A plan that builds millions of homes. A plan that makes us an energy superpower in both clean and conventional energy. A plan that creates new trade corridors with reliable partners. A plan that creates one Canadian economy, not 13. Because in Canada, we are stronger when we're united. We can give ourselves far, far more than Donald Trump can ever take away. But it will take extraordinary efforts. It won't be business as usual. We will have to do things we haven't imagined before at speeds we didn't think possible. We will do it. We will do it for the common good so that everyone benefits. You know, I do care about the economy. But it's not because I'm an economist. It's because I care about people. That's why I'm a Liberal. That's why we are Liberals. On sait.
It's clear that the value of a strong economy starts with the workers who have good, well-paying jobs today and who have better futures for them and for today's youth. We know as Liberals that we can't redistribute what we don't have. We also know that we can't be strong abroad if we're weak at home. We also know that we cannot build a better future if we're unable to manage the present.
So, we need a strong economy, but when we're fighting for a strong economy, we're fighting for good Canadian health care for everyone. We are fighting for strong support for our seniors who built this country. We are fighting for child care for young families that they put in place. We are fighting for dental care and pharma care for everyone who needs it. We are fighting for rights. We are fighting for a strong economy so we can create a more sustainable world for our children and grandchildren, and we will deliver. Well, thank you. I know that these are dark days. Dark days brought on by a country we can no longer trust. We are getting over the shock, but let us never forget the lessons. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to look out for each other. We need to pull together in the tough days ahead. And so, to those families watching this evening in Fort Smith, in Edmonton, and across every community in Canada, I promise you this. Together, we can and we will get through this crisis. We can and we will come out stronger than ever. And we will, because Canada is built on the strength of its people. From our mines to our ports, from our logging roads to our city streets, we're strongest when we're united, when we're one economy, not 13, when we can cheer for different teams and still be on one team when it counts. When we come together, we build things that last because we are Canada strong. Vive la Canada! Merci tout le monde.
That was Mark Carney, who is the new head of the Liberal Party and going to be the new Prime Minister. I think he has to be sworn in. He's technically not Prime Minister yet, but he will be the new Prime Minister of Canada. He is the new leader of the Liberal Party. That is why he gets to be Prime Minister, because the Liberal Party won the most parliament seats in the last election, and they formed a government, so their leader is the Prime Minister until the next government. There will be a national election in Canada no later than October. There could be one sooner. Mark Carney, I believe, could call one, or there could be a vote of no confidence in the government, and that could trigger it, so the opposition could help trigger one. But either way, there will be an election by October or sooner. And you heard Mark Carney talk about Pierre Poilievre. He is the leader of the Conservatives in Canada. And this president, you heard Mark Carney talk a lot about, and you actually heard maybe every speaker at this Liberal Party event today talk about Donald Trump and how he has, imposed tariffs on Canada and perhaps suggested that maybe is giving signs maybe that he wants to annex some of Canada, I don't know, and threaten Canadian sovereignty, many Canadians think. So that was a big topic of what he talked about. That was an important part of this leadership election, is who is best capable of taking on President Trump. And so very interestingly, though, just a few months ago, the Liberal Party was polling very poorly. I believe they were they were behind the Conservatives in the polling for the next election by about 20%. But now from what I understand, they have basically caught up, and Mark Carney might even be a slight favorite if there were an election held today. But the political landscape in Canada has really changed with President Trump coming to power in the U.S. and with his hostility towards Canada has really changed things. Some in Canada think that Pierre Poilievre he's too ideologically close to Trump to be the best person to oppose Trump. Anyways, so the fortunes of the Liberal Party have really changed in terms of how they might do in the next election over the last couple months, as the hostility towards Canada has been brought by President Trump in the U.S. So we'll have to see what happens in the election. But a couple months ago, it just looked like the Conservatives were a shoo-in for the next election in Canada. That is not the case right now. So we'll have to see what happened. What happens in the coming election. We don't know exactly when that's going to be yet. It could be very soon, but it will definitely be by October. I'm sure we'll end up covering that here. And Mark Carney winning convincingly the Liberal Party election. Almost 86% of the Liberal Party members that voted in the election voted for Mark Carney as the new leader of the Liberal Party and therefore as the new Prime Minister. So I want to take some comments from you guys here, and we'll talk some more about this. I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen at this event when we started our coverage. I think if I knew what was going to happen at the event, I would have started a bit earlier so we could have talked more about the election. I thought we'd have time to talk about it, but there were all these speakers. The candidates spoke. Mark Carney spoke. He ended up speaking before and after the results were announced. Chrétien, the former prime minister, spoke. So I want to show you guys that stuff. So we didn't really have time to discuss the context, the details. So I apologize for that. But that is Chrystia Freeland. She was the main competitor to Mark Carney in this election. And ultimately, she only got about, if I do the math right, I think she got about 10% of the vote, of the Liberal Party vote. She came in second, but way behind Mark Carney. Mark Carney has never held elective office. Mark Carney is the former head of the Bank of Canada, and he also was brought in to be the head of the Bank of England, and he helped steer them through Brexit. So he is seen as somebody, also I believe he worked at Goldman Sachs for a while. He is seen as somebody with a lot of financial expertise. So very interesting. Let me take some comments from you guys, and also we'll give you a little more background here. By the way, also, I do want to say a big thank you for your support. Bebop and Rocksteady and Uncle Lester Cam have been very supportive. Also, Spectral on White, thank you. And Boomer Wow, and Sherry, Ryan2426, Grevin Cher, KPB Earhart. Thanks for your support. And over there on Twitch, thank you to A Moment of Lovely, Oxytropis, Clearly Crystal Clear, Daddy Dino, Massachusetts Guy, Prague TM, EMB8, Shrocky. Thanks for your support over there on Twitch. I really appreciate it. All right, let me take some comments from you guys, and we'll talk more about this. And we definitely have some difference of opinion there in the chat. And we also have some people from Canada watching. Special shout out to our Canadian viewers. So let me see here. I want to take some comments. Dennis Kennedy says, hopefully better for Canadians. Let's see here. Our viewer Avender says he is someone who is often brought in during crisis, and his history in that regard is pretty good. Bavi Foxglove thinks Canada is in lots of trouble and it just keeps getting worse. Let's see here. Jamie Massetti says Canada has a Liberal banker as a prime minister. Yes, he is a banker and he is the head of the Liberal Party. All right, let me come back here. Oh, and let me show you this. Oh, I have to fix the headline because we were looking at, hang on a moment here. I know what's going on. I know why everything is messed up on the screen. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll fix it. All right, there's our headline. So I got to fix this headline, get rid of the clock, and put this headline up. And then here I have to do the same thing. Oopsie. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Canada's Liberals. No, that's not what I want to show you. There's a different article I want to show you from AP. That's an old article. Here's the new article. Ex-central banker Mark Carney to become Canada's next prime minister after Liberals elect him leader. Banana Bananu, our viewer on Twitch, thinks that a banker is a good choice in a trade war. I am not a Canada political expert, but from what I have read, a big topic, I think maybe the big thing people were thinking about in this Liberal Party leadership election, which just happened over the last couple of weeks, is who is best to take on Trump. Trump putting these tariffs on Canada. Now, he has temporarily rescinded the big 25% tariff and 10% tariff on energy. I believe for most of the goods that was covering. But there are still tariffs on Canada, and also, as I understand it, and also Trump has said that he is going to put those tariffs back on President Trump has said he's going to put those tariffs back on April 2nd, I think it is. But certainly, there's a lot of hostility coming from President Trump towards Canada. There was an interesting article, actually, in the New York Times a couple days ago where they were reporting that President Trump said things, was it to Trudeau, that suggested that he might be questioning the border of the U.S. and Canada. Let me see if I can just check what that reporting said. If you give me 2 seconds here, see if I can find that. Where is it here? Give me a moment. I might be able to pull up something for it, but I'll tell you about what he said, according to the reporting. Yeah, so the New York Times had an article a couple days ago where they said that for example, hang on, I'm pulling it up here. That Trump told Trudeau in a call recently that he did not believe that the treaty that demarcates the border between the two countries was valid, and that he wants to revise the boundary. And also, the New York Times reported that President Trump told Justin Trudeau in a recent call that he mentioned revisiting the sharing of lakes and rivers between the two nations. Anyways, if you want to read that article from the New York Times, the title of the article is How Trump's 51st State Canada Talk Came to be Seen in Canada as Deadly Serious. So I bring that up because there's just to emphasize there's a lot of concern in Canada about economic hostility coming from President Trump, and who knows, with all his 51st state talk and other things reportedly he has said in private to Prime Minister Trudeau, who knows what other is President Trump at some point going to challenge the territorial integrity of Canada? So you could understand why people might be focused on in choosing a new prime minister, in choosing a new leader of the Liberal Party, and then if there's an election soon, a national election soon, and choosing a new prime minister or sticking with Mark Carney, you can understand how for people in Canada, they might be prioritizing how will whoever we choose as our next leader, how will they respond to President Trump? By the way, a quick thanks to Vicky Healy for your support. Thank you, Vicky. Also, thanks so much to, I owe another thank you here. Bebop and Rocksteady. Bebop and Rocksteady thinks equal tariffs mean dark times. Yikes. Let me read some more comments from you guys. Joey Bain says, do Canadians worry about anything else besides Trump? Well, there have been ongoing issues. I am not an expert in Canadian politics, but there's been ongoing issues. For example, the housing and cost of living crisis, immigration, very prominent issue in Canada. Mark Carney talked about other issues in his speech. But certainly you can understand lately with these new tariffs being announced and then a lot of them pulled off, but being threatened, how that would be at the top of mind for a lot of people in Canada. Kelly Cook thinks Trump wants Canada to play fairly. You can see here AP says former central banker Mark Carney will become Canada's next prime minister after the governing Liberal Party elected him, as the country deals with U.S. President Trump's trade war and annexation threat, and a federal election looms. Carney replaces Justin Trudeau, who said he was going to resign, announced that a couple months ago. Mark Carney navigated crises. And Justin Trudeau is still prime minister until Mark Carney is sworn in the coming days, just to be clear. Carney navigated crises when he was the head of the Bank of Canada and when in 2013 he became the first non-citizen to run the Bank of England since it was founded in 1694. His appointment won bipartisan praise in the UK after Canada recovered from the 2008 financial crisis faster than many other countries. The opposition Conservatives are hoping to make the next, I believe this means are hoping to make the next election, the coming election about Trudeau, whose popularity declined as food and housing prices rose and immigration surged in Canada. Trump's trade war and his talk of making Canada the 51st U.S. state have infuriated Canadians, says AP, who are booing the American anthem at NHL and NBA games. Some are canceling trips south of the border, and many are avoiding buying American goods when they can. The surge in Canadian nationalism has bolstered the Liberal Party's chances in a parliamentary election expected within days or weeks or months by October. And that parliamentary election will determine who the next prime minister is. And look, I mean, you can tell. We just watched a 2-hour, roughly, Liberal Party event. Liberal Party is the governing party in Canada right now. And we just watched, and speaker after speaker after speaker devoted a lot of time to Donald Trump, to the relations with the U.S. They would not be doing that if people in Canada didn't care about it. And they didn't think it was good politics to be talking about it. And they're not just speaking to their party tonight. The assumption is that, I assume they are assuming that people across Canada, even people not in their party, are watching. And so clearly this was the big point of emphasis among the speakers tonight. We heard it again and again and again. The relations with the U.S. So you can tell from how much time was spent by the speakers tonight what a big topic that is in Canada. But we don't know exactly when this next election in Canada will be. You can see here from Reuters, Mark Carney wins race to replace Canada's Trudeau. Massachusetts guy, our viewer, says, wait a few months, Canada will fold. I want to take some more comments from you guys. Sorry, we didn't get much of a chance to do this during the actual broadcast because they had all these different speakers and we were showing you who was chosen as the next leader. Oh, we also heard, I should have mentioned this when I was talking about the different speakers. We heard Justin Trudeau's farewell speech, and he also talked, unsurprisingly, spent some time talking about President Trump and the relations with the U.S. as well. But we saw that as well tonight. If you missed any of that, you can go back and check it out. You can rewind the broadcast. Hang on a moment here. Did Trump say anything yet, said our viewer. I was checking earlier, Sharkbite. Thanks for reminding me. I am checking his Truth Social, and I don't see anything on his Truth Social. But President Trump just posted something about Greenland. President Trump just posted, as I made clear during my joint address to Congress, the U.S. strongly supports the people of Greenland's right to determine their own future. We will continue to keep you safe as we have since World War II. We are ready to invest billions of dollars to create new jobs and make you rich. And if you so choose, we welcome you to be a part of the greatest nation anywhere in the world, the U.S., the United States of America. Now, this is a bit different than some of his rhetoric about Greenland has, if I remember correctly. I do think I remember some of his rhetoric saying things like, we need Greenland, and sounding like he is set on Greenland being a part of the U.S. This is not as much that. This is saying, we're ready to welcome you if you so choose. I would have to pull up his exact remarks on Greenland. But if I remember correctly, I do feel like other things he has said have suggested more like, we're going to take Greenland. I'd have to go back and check his quotes. Which I don't have a list of his Greenland quotes. Maybe I can find one really quick. Yes, so for example, I am looking at a CNBC article from March 4th that says Trump says the U.S. will take control of Greenland one way or the other. Oh, he said at his joint address to Congress the U.S. would assume control of Greenland one way or the other. Here, I have the remarks by President Trump in joint address to Congress from a few days ago. Now, it says here, he said, we strongly support your right. He said in the address, we strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you to the United States of America. Did he say anything else about it? Where is that quote from? They said, now I'm confused. Because CNBC says President Trump said Tuesday the U.S. would take control of Greenland one way or the other. Oh, this is not the whole transcript. That is, is it? Hold on, let's see. Here it is. I got it. I got it right here. This is from the speech. So he also in the speech to Congress said, we need Greenland for national security and even international security. And we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it, really, for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. Now, that doesn't sound so much like, oh, we're okay with you doing whatever you want, Greenland. If you want to come and be part of us, fine. That sounds a little different. Anyways, so, you know. But I don't want to get off on a Greenland topic. I was just mentioning it because he just posted on his Truth Social about Greenland saying, If you choose, we welcome you to be part of the greatest nation anywhere in the world, the United States of America. Okay. But he has not. I was checking True Social to see if he had posted yet about the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and I didn't see anything yet from him about it. By the way, thank you to Boomer Wow for your support. Who says 3 Greenland options. They join us willingly for free. They join us after we pay them in Denmark. Peacefully occupy some of Greenland. Boomer Wow, are you saying Greenland just none of the above is not an option for Greenland? Boomer Wow. Thank you, Boomer Wow, for your support. Thank you also JDR for your support and David M for being a member. By the way, I do want to say thanks to. Thank you to our moderators so much. I really appreciate you being here, moderators. We have Janet B, Beth Mythical. We have Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, our moderators on X. Thank you. Ruth Krafasi is moderating as well on YouTube. Also over there on Twitch. Thanks to our moderators, A Moment of Lovely, Big Ball of Yarn, Cerrero, David Green, LB Prairie Dawn, Matthew Kohai, 3. McBritches and Surly Dev, thanks so much. And also on Facebook, Paul Anderson, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley. Really appreciate all of our moderators. Thanks also, by the way, quick thanks to Rita Evans Lange for subscribing on Facebook. And also Margaret and Kay, thank you. Lou Green, thanks for subscribing over there. Just want to shout out a couple of them, a couple of our supporters. And in case you missed it, here's a little summary of what's been going on. As the Washington Post says, Mark Carney, Canada's Liberals pick ex-central banker Carney to replace Trudeau. Mark Carney earned acclaim for steering countries on 2 continents, that'd be Canada and England, through economic turmoil. On Sunday, Canada's Liberals chose the former central banker to replace Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as the nation faces economic warfare and threats to its sovereignty from President Donald Trump. Carney's win was widely expected. He led in the polling, raised more funds than his rivals, and earned the backing of the Liberal establishment. He got about 86% of the vote, by the way, from the Liberal Party who voted. Carney is expected to formally replace Trudeau during the next week. A federal election must be held by October, but could come sooner. Carney could call a snap election, as analysts expect, or the opposition parties could bring government down, as they have suggested they might after a new session of Parliament begins this month. But it's expected that Carney himself will call a new election. There's got to be one by October. So we could be having a national election very soon in Canada, which we will cover here. Carney will face myriad challenges, says the Washington Post. None is more significant than that posed by Trump, who has levied tariffs on Canadian goods and threatened to use economic coercion to annex America's northern neighbor and make it the 51st state. Trump's actions have so severely ruptured the bilateral bond that officials, business leaders, and ordinary people in Canada say the damage could be permanent. Last week, Trump imposed 25% tariffs on most Canadian goods, spurring Canada to impose retaliatory levies. Then, over the following 72 hours, he temporarily paused the tariffs for some products, before threatening even more tariffs. Now, and it's very interesting. Mark Carney has never held elected political office. During the campaign, Carney cast himself as an even-keeled political outsider with the crisis management experience to take on Trump and manage the fallout of a trade war that could tip the economy into a recession, touting his record of steering Canada through the 2008 financial crisis as Bank of Canada governor and navigating Brexit as head of the Bank of England. And this is what I was mentioning before. With Trump taking control in the U.S. and his hostility towards Canada, that has really it has bumped up the Liberal polling numbers. They looked like they were going to get trounced by the Conservatives in the next election. That's no longer true. Before Trudeau said on January 6th that he would step down, the Liberals were trailing the Conservatives by 20 points and headed for a drubbing, polls showed. Amid concerns about the high cost of living in a stagnating economy, also immigration concerns in Canada. But since Trudeau's resignation and Trump's return, Trudeau's resignation has helped as well, the Liberals have significantly narrowed the gap. Carney is untested as a politician. He has stumbled in speaking French. I saw a chatter comment about this. His French is, I guess, not as great as other politicians usually would have in Canada, from my understanding. He has stumbled in speaking French, which could prove an issue in the battleground province of Quebec. It is unknown how he will fare in a campaign against Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, a lifelong politician with a go-for-the-jugular style. I'll take some more comments in a second. The four candidates in the Liberal Party leadership election spent little time attacking each other, instead focusing on who is best to counter Trump's America First agenda. Okay. Anyways. Speculation about Carney's political ambitions have swirled for more than a decade. All right. Anyways, let me take some more comments from you guys. Maybe we'll do a quick poll. I don't know what I believe the polling in Canada is close. What we're going to do is a quick poll here. Let's assume that the Liberals or the Conservatives will win the election in next election in Canada. Let's just assume for the moment there. I'll do a poll. Who will win next Canadian election? Liberals, Mark Carney, and Conservatives. If you think someone else will win, well, for the sake of the easiness, you can just not vote in the poll. For the sake of easiness of this, I'll add an other. I'll just add other so people don't complain I didn't give them an option. But those are the two most likely. Let me post this poll so you guys can vote, because we didn't have a poll. I have to look up the spelling of Poilievre. Poilievre. All right, we'll do one poll on this stream. All right, I am now posting the poll over there. I just posted it on YouTube. I will now post it on Twitch and Facebook. It takes so long to type all this out. All right. I got to do it one more time to post it on Facebook too. All right. It's posted on Twitch. I'm going to show you what you guys said in a second. And over on Facebook, I'm going to have posted for you guys too. Hang on a moment here. There we go. Okay, I finally posted the poll. Oh no, I gotta post it on. I'm just posting it on Facebook. It's now posted on Facebook too. All right, let's see. What did you guys say? What did you guys say? I said, who will win the next election in Canada? Will it be the Liberals, led by Mark Carney, the Conservatives, led by Pierre Poilievre, or other? On YouTube, it is pretty close over there among our YouTube viewers. 45% say Liberals, 49% say Conservatives, 7% say other. In Facebook right now, it is 50-50 between Liberals and Conservatives. And how about on Twitch? Let's see what Twitch has to say about this. Twitch is favoring the Liberals in their prediction. Right now, 67% on Twitch believe that the Liberals will win, 32% Conservative, 1% other. I should add Liberal majority or Liberal minority. Well, there's pluses and minuses to adding more options. The negative is that I have to type it all again. So we'll stick with this right now. By the way, thanks so much, Donna Smith, for the gift membership. Thank you also, Dennis Kennedy, for your support. Thank you, DJ Rob, for being a member. And again, a special shout out to our viewers from Canada. I like that we can. I like covering a different country, some politics. You know, I think for good reason. We've been lately covering a lot of American political stories, but I like being able to cover politics in other countries. And it was interesting to see that event today. Also, I will say this though. It was one of the interesting things about this, too, was the fact that so much of the event and so much of this current political situation in Canada is focused on America. I mean, as I said, I think if not every, certainly almost all the speakers today talked a bunch about President Trump and Canada's relations to the U.S. You know, just some of the things that were said. You know, in his victory speech, Mark Carney called the U.S. a country we can no longer trust. How about that? We have to look after ourselves. A few months ago, would you have ever thought that would happen? Oh, hold on a second. Do I have video of this? Give me a moment here. There's a Trump speaking. I don't know if I don't think I do, actually. So there's some new comments from Trump from Air Force One. Maybe I'll get I don't have the rights to the video, but I might get you a transcript of that. Trump spoke for about 10 minutes. Okay, so shortly, it's airing right now on some news channels. It's footage of Trump speaking from Air Force One. I'm going to see if I can find some reporting about what he said. But shortly, I should have a transcript of that. I can't show you that video. I don't have the rights to it. But I should have a transcript of it very shortly. But let me just quickly see if I can find... Oh, thanks for voting in our poll, by the way. I appreciate people voting in the poll. Let me see if I can quickly find some reporting about what he said. But we should have the transcript shortly. Oh, I have it. I have some quotes from Trump. I have some Trump quotes from the White House poll report today, made by Michael Birnbaum. So here is, this is the White House poll report about Trump. I think I can just show this to you. Let me show you this. This is the White House poll report giving some quotes of Trump on Air Force One. I'm pulling it up right now for you via Michael Birnbaum, who's the pool reporter today. Okay, here it is. I'm putting it on the screen right now. President Trump descended down the big steps from Air Force One at 7:31 p.m., trailed by Walt Nauta and Elon Musk. Is this from Marine One? No, I don't know. Anyways, quotes from the gaggle. Again, forget about the top stuff. It's just about his travel. This, again, he was, as I understand it, he was on Air Force One speaking. Quotes from the gaggle. Russia sanctions. Trump said, we're going to be looking at a lot of things. We have big meetings coming up, as you know, in Saudi Arabia that's going to include Russia, but Ukraine, we'll see if we can get something done. Like to get something done. A lot of people died this week, as you know, in Ukraine, not only Ukrainians, but Russians. So I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week. Tariffs. Trump said, I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again. Trump on Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She's a very good woman. She's very smart. And I don't know about people attacking her. I really don't know. I think she's a very good woman. She's very smart. I think he might be referring, maybe he was asked a question about some conservatives have been turning against Amy Coney Barrett. For example, there is an NBC News article from 3 days ago with the headline, MAGA World Turns Against Amy Coney Barrett because she has voted against some of President Trump's priorities. Anyways, Trump gave a supportive quote about her. Government shutdown this week. Remember, Congress needs to vote and the president needs to sign it. Vote to fund the government by, I think, March 14th, and then there's a shutdown. Government shutdown this week. President Trump just said the Democrats want that. They want to destroy the country, he said. So I can't tell you, but it could happen. It shouldn't have happened, and it probably won't. I think the continuing resolution to fund the government is going to get passed. We'll see, but it could happen. Also, during this gaggle with reporters, which Trump just did on Air Force One a few minutes ago. He said he won't commit to resuming aid to Ukraine, even if there is a minerals deal. President Trump shut off all military aid to Ukraine sometime in the last couple of weeks, I think it was, maybe a week or two ago. He won't commit to resuming aid to Ukraine, even if there is a minerals deal. He said, I think they will sign the minerals deal, but I want them to want peace, right? Well, right now they haven't shown it to the extent that they should. I think right now they haven't, but I think they will be, and I think it's going to become evident over the next 2 or 3 days. I think eventually, look, we have to have peace. Trump on the possibility of a recession. He, a few minutes ago, said, I tell you what, of course you hesitate. Who knows? All I know is this. We're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich you're not going to know when to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. A quick reminder, tariffs are paid, American tariffs on foreign goods are paid by the American importers of those goods. Okay, so I just wanted to update you about that reporting on Trump's, that's not all the remarks he made, but it's a summary of some quotes from the Trump made an appearance before reporters on Air Force One a short while ago. Let me just see if I have any other reporting about that. Oh, for you football fans out there, breaking football news. According to Adam Schefter, Seattle is trading wide receiver DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not going to really get into it, but DK Metcalf traded to the Steelers by the Seahawks. Just letting you know. Okay. I am also just seeing if there's any other reporting on what Trump recently said. Give me one moment here. I haven't seen, I'm just kind of checking around. I just wanted to see if there was reporting about anything else Trump might have said on Air Force One that reporters was getting a lot of press, and I haven't seen it yet. So our viewer, Michelle Lauzon, thinks that Carney and the Liberals will win the next election in Canada, which is expected to be fairly soon. Has to be by October, expected to be sooner than that. Also, Michelle, who I think is in Canada, Michelle says, we will never trust the U.S. again. Forgive we will. Some people asked about the Oilers in UFC, and some other viewers have commented on the fact that Mark Carney is becoming the prime minister, but they didn't have a new national election. So, to be clear, in Canada, some countries are like this. They don't have a direct election for prime minister. You get to be prime minister in Canada, like you do in the UK, because your party did the best, basically because your party did the best in the parliamentary elections. So you can have a situation where the party leader is replaced, but so you have a new prime minister, but you don't have a new national election. So that was the case here, where because Justin Trudeau resigned as the leader of the party, they chose a new party leader who gets to be the prime minister. Now, they will have a new national election no later than October. But it is not like the US, where you directly elect the head of state. I think there was a bit of confusion about that. T-Wiki says UK has had plenty of that. Beep Boop says the relations with the US have completely taken over the political discourse here in Canada because it's directly related to the economy. Thank you, Ron Dykeman, for your support. And Sevenfold, who thinks Justin Trudeau is hiding under his desk. Thanks also Calum Anderson from Canada, who says, thanks for covering my country. Also thanks to Chris Canada, Quebec City. Chris Canada, Quebec City from Canada thinks the winner of the next election in Canada will be the one who is most aggressive towards Trump's attacks. Thanks also Eamon O'Leary for your support. Hang on a second here. And also, by the way, Eamon says Jim Carrey is from Canada. Thank you, Tim747 from Canada, for your support. I really appreciate that. There is a picture of Mark Carney right there. You'll see it in a second. If it pops up here, there's a picture of him from Reuters. Right there, Mark Carney. We saw him speak. If you want to see him speak and you want to see Justin Trudeau's farewell speech to the Liberal Party, you can rewind the broadcast. You can see here, Reuters says, former central banker Mark Carney won the race to become the leader of Canada's ruling Liberal Party and will succeed Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister. He will take over at a tumultuous time in Canada, which is in the midst of the trade war with the longtime ally, the U.S., under President Trump, and must hold a general election soon. He took 86% of the votes of about 150,000 party members voted. Now, how many total party members are there? I thought I read 400,000 could vote, but I'm not sure. Yes, so the Liberal Party of Canada said in January there are nearly 400,000 members. So about 150,000 of the 400,000 registered Liberals voted in this party leadership election. And Carney said today in his speech, there's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. He said of Trump, he's attacking Canadian workers, families, and businesses. We can't let him succeed. Trudeau had announced in January he would step down as the party leader and prime minister after more than 9 years in power, as his approval rating plummeted. Carney, a political novice, argued that he was best placed to revive the party and to oversee trade negotiations with Trump, who was threatening additional tariffs that could cripple Canada's export-dependent economy. Carney's win marks the first time an outsider with no real political background has become Canadian Prime Minister. How about that? He said his experience as the first person to serve as the governor of two G7 central banks, Canada and England, meant he was the best candidate to deal with Trump. And we've said this before, how over the last couple months, with the hostility from Trump coming and the tariffs and such, the Liberal Party has seen their poll numbers rise. You can see here the prospect of, and also with the announcement of resignation of Justin Trudeau, who had become more unpopular in Canada as a Liberal Party leader. You can see here Reuters says the prospect of a fresh start for the Liberal Party under Carney, combined with Trump's tariffs and his repeated taunts to annex Canada as the 51st state, has led to a remarkable revival of Liberal fortunes in Canada. Rally around the flag moment. At the start of 2025, the Liberal Party trailed by 20 or more points, but is now statistically tied with the opposition Conservatives, led by career politician Pierre, I'm going to pronounce it right, Poilievre, in several polls. Polls indicate that neither the Liberals nor Conservatives would be able to form a majority government. An election must be held by October 20th. Two Liberal Party sources said Carney would call an election in the coming weeks, meaning one could take place much sooner. You know what's interesting also? Carney could legally serve as Prime Minister without holding a seat in Parliament. He's not a member of Parliament. But tradition dictates that he should seek to win a seat in Parliament as soon as possible. That's interesting. A lot of Canadian politics on Agenda Free TV today. I like it. One of our viewers, Factory Reject, says, you should be united. Sad it took Trump to do it. DRS Mapd says Canada should have just lowered their tariffs instead of being such jerks. Well, remember, Canada, I believe they might have had some particular tariffs, but Canada and Mexico and the U.S. are part of a free trade agreement, which was signed under the Trump administration in 2020. So just to be clear, and also just to be clear, President Trump has said that the tariffs on Canada and Mexico are chiefly a result of them not, according to Trump, doing enough about immigrants crossing the border and illegal immigration crossing the border and fentanyl. That is what President Trump has said. Yes, our viewer is talking about the USMCA trade agreement. You can see here from Wikipedia, the USMCA is a free trade agreement among the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, which replaced NAFTA and was signed in July, made effective in July, signed in 2018 and 2019, and when it came into effect in 2020. Thank you, Olive Juice from Canada, who says, federal election, you vote for a seat in your riding, not the prime minister. Party with the most seats gets prime minister. We also vote separately for provincial premiers. Thank you, Olive Juice, for your support from Canada. Yes, they do not vote directly for the prime minister, although you're aware of who the prime minister is going to be when you make your vote in an election because you know who the party leader is. Strobama writes in and says, as a Canadian, I am sure Conservatives will win the election in Canada. Karen Moore, our viewer, says, maybe we in the U.S. should take care of the states we have. She says, instead of, I guess, focusing on Canada as a 51st state. If I'm interpreting her comment correctly. Avia's, I think she might have said this. I can't remember exactly. Our viewer Avia mentioned that he said that during her speech, she said Canada, Chrystia Freeland, who was the runner-up for Liberal Party leader, said Canada will never become the 51st state. I can't remember if she said exactly that. I don't doubt that she said something like that. And I know that, because I wrote it down, that Mark Carney, when he spoke today, said Canada will never be part of America in any way, shape, or form. Oh, and then former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, right? Who was Prime Minister for 10 years in Canada. He's now 91 years old. He spoke today at the event. We saw him speak. And he said something. He said to Trump, stop this nonsense. I think he said something like, from one old guy to another, stop this nonsense. He also said Canada will never join the U.S. So it was certainly a theme today. Irma Oxenen says it's a shame there is this animosity between our two countries. Hang on a moment here. We'll take a few more comments here from you guys. If there is other big news tonight, we can come on the air and cover it. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda here at Agenda Free TV. Oh, real quick, I will, if I can find it here. Let me just give you a quick update because we were talking about this before. This is a Reuters story. Small plane crashes into Pennsylvania retirement community parking lot. You can see a picture of it right there, the plane. Hold on a second here. I'll show you. But it was a small plane, and you can see here's the picture from Reuters. There is the plane in the parking lot. There was a fire. A number of cars caught on fire. That's in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, near Lancaster Airport. And just to get you an update on this story, you can see here a small plane with 5 people aboard crashed on Sunday into the parking lot of a retirement community in southern Pennsylvania. The 5 people aboard the plane survived the crash and were transported to local hospitals, said the Manheim Township fire chief. He did not have details on the condition of the pilot and passengers. Wow, so they did survive that crash. That's great news. No one on the ground was injured, and the plane did not strike any buildings when it crashed shortly after takeoff. Authorities said they did not know why the plane crashed. I reposted a audio clip that was posted by this account I follow called Breaking Aviation News and Videos, where they had an audio clip of an air traffic control, which is supposedly from this flight of the pilot ground communication, where the pilot reportedly said he had an open door and was attempting to return to the airport, and I guess did not make it. I will post a link to that audio clip in the chat. Anyways, it's good news that the 5 people are alive, although we don't know the conditions. At least I don't know the conditions. And that article didn't say the conditions. Oh, our viewer Swanky Tiger mentioned that President Trump commented on the plane crash. I haven't gotten... Oh, hold on a second. I was hoping to get a... I haven't seen... Has the White House posted it yet? I haven't seen a transcript of what President Trump said on the plane. I was giving you some quotes. I was wondering if there were a transcript, but I haven't seen one yet. Anyways, our viewer Swanky Tiger sent me a video clip from ASIN, who posted a video clip of Trump from being broadcast on TV, where a reporter says from today there was just another plane crash, and Trump says that has nothing to do with the department. That was a small plane. That would have happened. That would have happened if you had a big department or a small department. I didn't see it's a clip, so I don't know the whole discussion. But I again, just to say what I said before, there are regularly small plane crashes in the U.S. That happens regularly. So this small plane crash happening now, I don't believe in itself suggests there's some unprecedented outburst of plane crashes. That's not something you would conclude just from, this plane crash. But, and yes, there have been several high-profile accidents in the U.S., but just to clarify, there are regularly small plane crashes in the U.S. I was trying to get an exact figure earlier. I've seen a figure floating around for last year, but I'm not sure about the exactness of this, so I don't want to quote it. But, I just know from covering news that fairly regularly I see stories about planes coming down in the U.S., small planes, sometimes fatal. So I cannot speak to this particular crash and the causes of this particular crash, both the proximate cause and any kind of cause it might have to what's going on in the rest of the country and the government. I can't speak about that, but I just wanted to clarify that. By the way, I haven't even watched that clip yet. ASIN usually, in my experience, accurately. I have no reason to think he has misquoted the clip, but I'll post a link to the clip so you can go watch it if you want. Oh, also, one of our viewers mentioned Bitcoin going down. Bitcoin has dropped today. That is from Yahoo Finance. It is now 81,150 or so. This is a 1 day view. So it was at about a day in the last day. It was or earlier today. It was at around 86,000. So, anyways, I'm not going to get into this now. This is not an economic stream, but somebody mentioned it, so point that out. All right. I think we're getting close maybe to the time where, because we came on the air to cover the Canada stuff, and we have covered that. So, yeah, I think it might be time. I think it might be our time. So we have been here covering live the announcement about the new Prime Minister of Canada. As I mentioned, Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister, has never held political elected office that I'm aware of. Political novice, one of the articles called him. He was the governor of the Bank of Canada. He was the governor of the Bank of England. He is seen as a financial expert. But he, overwhelmingly, the Liberal Party chose him as their new leader. And he is, because he's the leader of the Liberal Party, he will now be Prime Minister. But it is widely expected that there will be another election coming up soon in Canada, which I am sure we will cover here. And big focus in Canada right now on the relations with the U.S., the Trump tariffs, President Trump constantly suggesting Canada should be the 51st state and so forth. So if you missed it, we showed you Mark Carney speaking twice, actually. We showed you before and after we showed you speaking before with the rest of the candidates in his victory speech. We showed you Justin Trudeau's farewell speech. You can rewind and watch all that stuff. But I think at this time, we are going to wrap up this live stream. If there's huge new news tonight, we'll cover it. And of course, we will be covering other news this week. Subscribe and follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news. I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the coverage. And special shout out. We even had some people watching from Canada, which is super cool. Thanks for watching from Canada, even though I am clearly not a Canada politics expert. So I appreciate you tuning in. And I really appreciate people letting me read your comments in the air, sending in your comments and questions, sending in news tips. And being here for the coverage. So thank you for that. I liked being able to bring you some other non-U.S. coverage of events and politics, even though they were talking a lot about the U.S. and President Trump, the different speakers today from the Liberal Party. So subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. Also make sure you turn notifications on. We have a notification system. It works fantastic, where it sends you a notification whenever we're going live. It's free. It's our own system, so it's really reliable. We do it through Discord. And because I don't know when some big new news story is going to happen, and I'll jump on the air. So sign up for that. The mods will post the link to the notifications in the chat, and you can also find that link in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook. So sign up for the notifications. Also, I will be posting updates about all kinds of news stories, as I always do when I'm not on the air, and sometimes when I'm on the air, on X. Follow me on X, @Lookner, for breaking news updates on X. And I really want to thank the mods. I'm going to thank them in a second. By the way, quick thank you. I owe a thank you over on Twitch to Kimlee Hillbilly for your support on Twitch. And Olive Juice. Oh, I thanked Olive Juice before. Thanks, Olive Juice, for your support from Canada. Hey, let's thank our moderators. We had people from different countries watching today, as usual, people with different political views. And our mods are there to allow us to have chat rooms where people can share their views, but keep it under control and civil. So thanks so much to our moderators for letting that happen, for letting us have chat rooms. Over there on YouTube, Ruth Kafasi, Beth Mythical, and all of our other mods who have been over there on YouTube, Janet B. and others. Thanks to our X mods, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, thank you. Our Facebook mods like Kay Larry Body, Margaret Riley, Paul Anderson. And hold on a second here. Hopefully I'm not missing any. Thanks for modding over there and on Twitch. Thanks so much to all of our mods there. A Moment of Lovely, Big Ball of Yarn, Serrero, David Green, Matthew Kohai 3, Surly Dev, and the rest of our mods. Thank you so much. Also, thanks to Bad Toastery for the bits on Twitch. And thanks to everybody who donating. So nice of you. I think I thanked everybody earlier. But I really appreciate your support for the channel because that's what allows this channel to exist and allows me to buy footage like what we showed today and stuff. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you. If you ever want to donate, go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. Thanks again to special shout out to Bebop and Rocksteady and also who else? Uncle Lester Cam, who gave a number of donations today, but everybody else who donated, who again, I think I thanked everybody on here. Hopefully, the intention was to get to everybody. And, clearly crystal clear, Massachusetts guy, everybody else. Thanks for your support of the channel. And hey, we have a chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not live. The Agenda Free TV Discord chat. It's free. A lot of our viewers like doing that. Check it out. It's the same link as the link to the free notifications. You can check out the chat there. And thanks to all of our Discord mods for all that you do, Discord mods. Thank you. Another way, by the way, if you're on X, some of you go to X, that platform, and follow things on X. Follow Agenda Free TV because I always post updates about the channel there. I post when we're going live. I post scheduling updates and news about the channel. So follow Agenda Free TV at Agenda Free TV on X. And a reminder to you YouTube viewers, make sure you have notifications turned on. But it's kind of weird how you have to, the way to turn on notifications on YouTube is a little funky. So if you're a subscriber on YouTube, what you got to do is click the bell, the notifications bell, click the bell, and then choose all notifications. So make sure you do that if you're subscribing on YouTube. All right. Hey, thanks to our Facebook subscribers who support the channel over there, like Eve Richards and Lou Green, Robert Real II, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, all of our Facebook subscribers. Thank you. Rita Evans Lang and all of our others over there. Our Twitch subscribers. Thanks so much to our Twitch subscribers for your support. Tegrity Farmer Bob, Wall Street Shaggy, Moment of Lovely, Matthew Kohai 3, TH3TRO11, and all the rest of our subscribers on Twitch. Thanks so much for subscribing over there. Very much appreciated. And our YouTube members like TJ Adams, Eric Johnson, UV Lightning, Ken Lance, Evelyn and May, Naomi Nocturnal, Macro Geek, Roger Shoemaker, Leslie Ladyhawk, Jen Exer, Queen of the South, Aaron Hardy, Mama 457 Rose, PZ Papa Zulu, Mona L, Shelley, Music Muse. Thanks for being members. John Flick, JD63, Shawnee, Jen Exer, Susie Irish, Paul S., Rebecca Falsetto, Jane Jones, Tabitha Veers, Justin King, Jerry Kovacs, Aaron Hardy, Kiwi NZ, and all of our other YouTube members, and our other viewers too. Thanks for watching. Terry Rose, Lori Nance, Jasmine Beatty, Nicolette Parker. By the way, our viewer Chris Van Buskirk says, I knew Carney would likely win today. Thanks Chi-Town Bear for subscribing. Love Francis 2 for subscribing on Twitch. Thanks to our viewers Rex, Floyd Davino, and Zambo33, Strong One, and others. Also, Mostly Dolls and Helicopters. Taylan Osger Osden, thanks for watching. Brown Dog Prospecting from Australia, thanks for watching. Gary Pates, Cat Wilson, Dark Lord, thanks for watching. NorCal Jim, Aria K, thank you. All right, so I'm sure we will be covering more news this week, but that is it for now. You have been here watching our live breaking news coverage of the announcement of the new Liberal Party leader and Prime Minister in Canada. Congratulations to Mark Carney. So thanks again for joining us. If you missed it and you want to go back and see the speeches, see Justin Trudeau speak, for example, see Mark Carney speak, you can go back and rewind. But that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.